on, guys? Welcome back to Everyday Struggle. Nadeska, Akademiks, and Wayno here, ready to celebrate Black History Month.
Absolutely.
I have to remind these niggas that it was Black History Month, man. They were going all along with their February.
Look at Wayno's shirt. Look at Wayno's shirt.
Wayno been dressing like this hipster Harlemite for the last 3 months. Today he comes in with a God loves black skin. Come on, Wayno, you ain't low.
I'm supporting.
You ain't low.
I'm supporting one of my homies by wearing his brand.
So you're not even really doing it on behalf of Black History Month. Okay.
Let's not talk about people's blackness, okay?
Listen,
we're not gonna do that.
I'm just holding it down. I'm holding it down.
Yeah.
Holding it down.
Whatever.
Go ahead.
All right, so to celebrate, each one of us made a pick. We're going to start with Wayno, who picked Freddie Figgers. So he's an inventor, computer programmer, software engineer, and an entrepreneur. That's pretty crazy. He has a company called Figgers Communications. So it's the only Black-owned and minority-owned U.S.-based telecommunications company. And he really believes that his products can change human behavior. So one product he's really focused on right now is the F1 phone, which promotes safe driving. It disables text messages when it detects any motion over 10 miles an hour. But Wayno, I know you were very interested. Tell us more about Freddie.
So what really drew me to Freddie and his story was that he was a abandoned baby. Like, he was found behind a dumpster. I think he's from Florida. He was found behind a dumpster. And I'm just thinking about how people go through hardship. Like, imagine being a kid at maybe 10 or 11 years old and finding out that that was your circumstance and that you don't have any parents, and then going on to becoming the person that he is today. You know, I think that my problem, well, I said I had a problem with Black History Month, and a lot of people, you know, jumped in the comments and was on me about it. And basically what I was saying is that I think that Black history is history that should be celebrated all year round because it's a part of American history. And not only that, we hear a lot of the same stories. So that's why I picked Freddie Figgers, because I felt like we need to hear new stories that push us forward, you know?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't familiar with him before, so I'm glad you put us on. Shout out to Freddie.
Absolutely.
Ak, what's good with you, bro? They never catch the way you're looking at me. All right, so Ak picked a Jamaican and also just one of the greatest humans and artists of all time.
There you go.
Bob Marley.
Respect.
Of course, I don't even really have to intro him, but of course, reggae pioneer, one of the best-selling artists of all time. He just died way too young. He was only 36 years old. This was back in 1981. None of us were really around. And he preached a lot. Like, he spoke about people and their suffering. He was an advocate for the people and also preached a lot of just love and unity, which we don't see enough of. He has been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he does have a Hollywood Walk of Fame star.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I had to hold down with Bob Marley as my first pick in this Black History Month. Honestly, not only for his influence in music, and we could even say pop culture, so other things, but just really what he stood for, you know, for someone coming from a third world country and having the effect that he had over the world. And a lot of his message was really put forth through his music. You know, He was preaching love, unity, but he was also preaching being rebellion about oppressive situations. So, you know, like, he has songs like Get Up, Stand Up. You know, of course, he has songs like One Love. You know, Three Little Birds, I Shot the Sheriff. Like, these are songs that weren't only meant to just make you laugh or have fun or just dance, but it was really conveying strong messages. And you know, if you look at just how he lived his life, like, you know, like he's one of those people who, you know, we look at music now and a lot of the artists, notoriously, I saw that clip recently again of Young Thug, like, when he was asked about Mike Brown, he was like, yo, I want to talk about that. We iced up. And really, you know, these days you see musicians, they kind of shine away from that. Not all, but some. Actually, I would say most, to be honest, because it's very polarized in being in that position, knowing that you're trying to market music to everybody. Right. And he wasn't that, you know, like, he got shot trying to have a concert to unify, you know, like, Jamaica is a third world country where politics really change people's lives. Like, you know, if, you know, over here, Donald Trump get elected, it may or may not affect your life personally, but in Jamaica, if the party that your area is going for doesn't get, like, elected, y'all might not get electricity. Y'all might not get any grants for, like, to pay people to, like, fix roads, this, and third. So, you know, it matters a lot, and it gets very violent during election time. He was trying to, you know, unite two opposing parties. You know, he even got shot trying to do that. So, you know, he's someone beyond the music that if you look how he lived his life, there was a synergy with the message he was putting out, the music, and to be honest, just how he was carrying himself. So, you know, that's why he's my pick. And of course I'm Jamaican. Come on, man.
Nah, great pick. An icon, and just like you said, transcended just music. So our assistant producer Christina was mentioning yesterday, there is a Netflix documentary about him. I know you're all like sketchy on docs sometimes, but I Shot the Sheriff. It's supposed to be good. It's been in my list to watch, so I'm gonna check that out soon.
You know, it's one of the most amazing quotes that he has, like that. I can't remember, but it's an interview he's doing, and the guy was like, you know how you have all these possessions? He's like, possessions make you rich. You know what I mean? And he was just saying, like to see, I didn't know he was that young. I didn't know he was only 36 years old, but to have the mindset he had to be making those type of records and to be using his platform to try to help his community and help his people, that's insane. Like, we don't get that from artists mostly anymore.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So third pick, this one was my pick. It was Queen Latifah, who of course is a rapper, singer, and actress, producer. She has crazy awards. She's won a Grammy, an Emmy, a Golden Globe Award, Screen Actors Guild, NAACP Image Awards. And of course, I think a lot of us got introduced to her in her rap career. She had really big songs like Ladies First and Unity. And that was a very, very male dominated era, but she always like did her thing and held her own. And I remember growing up and watching her on Living Single. So since then, she's also been in Set It Off in Chicago, Bringing Down the House, the first rap artist to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I think it's really, really difficult to flourish in the entertainment industry, and the way she's transcended rap, you know, going into hosting, producing her own things, starring, like these days we see, like I saw Cardi B in Hustlers recently. I feel like she was one who really, really paved the way for us to be able to branch out of just music. I look at her like people like an LL Cool J who's been able to do that as well. You know what I mean? We don't see entertainers cross over into that second or third or fourth career very often, and she's killed it. And it's been nice to see her pop up recently on Rhapsody's album, inducting Missy into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. She gave like a very emotional speech. So I just want to say hats off to the Queen.
That's amazing, yo. When I think about it, I was raised by Queen Latifah. Because like from her music, my favorite song from Queen Latifah is Just Another Day. But from her music to her getting into film and television.
I was watching Living Single after school every day.
Yeah, like she's done so much. I mean, when you look at, I don't think people know how much she's actually done. Because I look at Queen Latifah kind of like Ice Cube. Like, my kids don't really know Ice Cube for rapping at all. So when they see him, they're like, oh, he used to rap. Like, when my son saw Straight Outta Compton, he couldn't believe that was Ice Cube, the person from Are We There Yet?
Wow.
You know, so salute to Queen Latifah. Great pick for her.
Thank you. You guys ready to have some fun?
Absolutely.
Sure.
All right, so the 2020 NBA All-Star Game is coming up this weekend. So in anticipation, we had Wayno and Akademiks pick their 5 All-Stars in rap at the moment. So counting things like music, impact, and reach. But if you guys watch this show often, you know that anytime it comes to debating a rapper's ranking or albums, we be going in fucking circles, right? So we need some criteria. All right, so the fans who've been tuned into this definitely have some questions and some help. So here we go. Since y'all are always talking about what is the criteria to rate an artist, challenge y'all to come up with your own criteria and compare. We need an official everyday struggle checklist when rating artists. Good luck. Thank you, Richard. We do need your luck. And another fan actually had some suggestions. So he said, based on this, y'all should get the rating of artists down pack. I hope this helps out. So let's see. He's counting skill set, versatility in different genres. That's very specific. Album sales, merch sales, tour sales, #1 hits, generally just staying relevant with interviews, etc. Number of Billboard mentions and consecutive holdings on billboards. So there's definitely some good ones in here, but it gets very, very specific. So let's start. And I also pulled the ones from when I used to do Hottest MCs back in the day, so we have something to compare it to.
Okay, I would like to hear that.
Okay, so starting with impact, which we all agree on, right? So you're able to shift the whole landscape of music, someone like a Kanye, whether it be with soul samples or your own music, whatever, your own brand of trap music, sorry for T.I.
Are we talking about impact like maybe at the moment or just like impact overall? Because some people, their impact is kind of like everlasting.
If we're talking about like greatest of all times list, I guess it would be overall, but for the purposes of this, we could talk impact in the last couple of years or so.
Okay.
I mean, merch sales, really? Like, tour sales? Like,
so I think we just bundled that all into sales. Those are the subcategories of sales.
Yeah.
But all right, impact, lyrics, sales, your buzz. You could be the greatest rapper of all time, but if no one has any idea who you are, it doesn't matter. Generally, your style, and then the intangibles. Like, some people just have a certain star quality. So those are the hottest MCs criteria to make it a little bit broader, right? So what are the things we could definitely agree on, and what would you debate on here?
I mean, I think it starts with music before anything else.
So lyrics would be very important to you, to him probably a little bit less sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, not just lyrics, but just like song making ability. I think it's a lot of lyricists that can't make good songs. You know, I would go more on like just like impact, but in music, like impactful music, as opposed to just like impact overall. There's a lot of artists that you could watch their interviews, but you don't want to hear shit. You don't want to hear their music at all. There's a lot of artists that have impact socially, where you might go to their page because they do a lot of funny shit, but do you really care to listen to their music? I think those lines get blurred. I'm starting and staying with music impact.
Okay. Agree? Song making ability, not necessarily lyrical ability?
Yeah, I always go for the overall in that, you know, because like, again, you know, to quote Wayno's employer, if skills sold, truth be told, I'd probably be. Nah, I'm playing. Look at this nigga's face. Look at this nigga's face. He looks so confused.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Again, like, you know, like if we only went off lyrics, like most of these lists would be so different. So like, of course we count lyricism, but like I like to lump it in. Like, if you make a hot song saying a bunch of nothing, cool. But if you could balance it out where it's dope lyrically and it's catchy, yo, I think that takes like a greater skill than just like either focusing on one. Like you're literally like, it's like cooking one thing versus like cooking like 20 different things and everything being up to par.
But see, like, and to what you're saying, if I had to base it just on that, then I would say Joyner Lucas is better than a lot of people, because he has a way to he has bounce in his music, but he also has like impactful lyrics. But I don't see people into the person of Joyner Lucas. You know what I'm saying? Like I think people like his videos whenever he puts them out, and they like he can rap on any type of beat. But as far as like you don't see him doing ad campaigns and all, and that's the shit that usually people legitimize for liking music nowadays.
So would that then be just buzz? Because I feel like impact, as we're talking about, is a little bit different.
No, I think that's intangible. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't think that the hottest MCs list was that off in terms of broad category.
Yeah.
Like when you get that specific, like tour sales or whatever,
Yeah.
like, it almost like you're doing an overall like look at everyone, and like it's gonna take too long. But intangible, like Joyner Lucas, if I quickly had to say, I would be like, I don't think the it factor is apparent. That's it. So
Okay,
that's
intangible.
intangibles. Like, yo,
Okay.
DaBaby has an it factor. You know, like I think he does other things like good and well, and maybe some things he doesn't do as well. But then the it factor makes it all work, and that usually, you know, it stands out a little bit more.
See, and I think the sales things comes up because consumers just have access to too much information that they shouldn't.
But you're saying generally you wouldn't count it. So far we agree on, I'm not gonna put lyrics, I'm gonna put songwriting. Song creation? Not songwriting.
Well,
song making, sorry,
yeah.
whatever. I'll make it sound nicer, and intangible. So we're agreed on those.
Yeah, I don't think that, like, you know, selling the most makes you necessarily the best. I think, like, because that's the thing, if we put it to just Drake is gonna be the greatest artist of all time if we just base it on sales.
But if you have the
like-
intangibles anyway and good songs, shouldn't you always be selling?
No, okay,
Yeah.
so this is what I say, right? Like, in terms of lyricism and like sales, like we're not gonna value either category where we're looking at whoever is the most lyrical or sells the most and just like automatically put him top of the list. But I think there's a bar in each you have to pass. If you're not selling at all, I don't care if you're the greatest fucking rapper who ever lived.
Right.
Like,
you have to sell, but
we can't really put you in a all-inclusive category. Vice versa. If you're the person who fucking you sell the most ever in the world, but like your music is just like blah, and like there's no fucking content to it, we probably can't throw you in that either. You know, like, so I think there's a bar you have to pass on both of them. You get me? And of course, like how much over the bar you are, we might give you a little bit of favor, but it's definitely not just ranking it on who's the best lyricist or who sells the most.
yeah,
That would be absolutely ridiculous.
But I think that you, as a lyricist, like, this is music business, you do want to see your artists achieve goals. You know what I mean? Like, you do want to see your artists have awards and all that, but I don't think that like, how many awards you have makes me a better, like, artist than you. Like, I think that it's gonna have to go back to the music and how the music is impactful. I think, like, you know, when people talk about Jay and Nas, people love Nas for his lyricism, but like he doesn't have certain intangibles that Jay has, and Jay doesn't have intangibles that Nas has. But people rank Jay just because of people rank Jay more a lot of times based on his business acumen or based on the things he did outside of music.
Maybe it's changed now, but I used to look at like the super lyricists as the ones who they had that like excuse like tucked in the back. It's like that. It's like that fucking Uno card that like
draw four?
Yeah, like basically like yo. You're the only reason I'm not super popping is because I'm keeping it real pure. You know
Right,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
And there's nothing wrong
like
with that, but
no
I think
shots at all. Like it's like the Joe, even Joe, right? It's like, yo, I had to pump it up so I could go that route, but now I'm gonna just keep it like I like this shit more, and that's cool. But it's like, yo, how do you rank those people, especially if you're trying to rank them among everyone, right? Because they're almost saying, I could do that other shit, but I'm not. It's not like I'm trying to do it.
Yeah. Well,
Is that taken away then from impact? So we have intangibles, sales, song making ability, and now it's like the buzz impact.
Yeah, the buzz.
Although those are different, because buzz is always current.
Yeah,
right?
it's like being hot.
So those four are solid. So then it's just like really the last one, because the last ones here were style and impact.
Yeah, I look at that buzz as in like, yo, are you affecting conversation now? Like, are we talking?
If you're a part of the conversation,
if we're not talking about you, it's like, okay, cool. But like, if you're still in that conversation, and that's what I'm saying, like, we can't look at superlatives as who sells the most or who's the most lyrical or who has the most buzz at the time. But like, you got to look at all these categories, and there's a bar. Like you still pass the bar of you're still relevant.
Yeah.
Then we could kind of nitpick with other shit.
So that's where the fun part comes in, right? Once we set this criteria, then you guys have to decide what is your personal bar for each of those. If lyrics matter all the way, so we're about to do that in a second. So for the purposes of what we're about to do, and Wayno, I'll let you finish, should we take out impact and just use buzz, because we're speaking current? So buzz, song making abilities, sales, and intangible.
Well, I think the impact thing goes to what Ak was saying, like if you are part of the conversation. Because there's tons of artists that put out music. It's even artists that people get upset that we don't talk about.
And I don't think any of them are on your list that you're about to get into.
They're
that's
not,
the thing.
but that's the thing. It's like, because it's a topic of conversation. It's like, when I think of like, I'll just throw an example out there, like Roddy Ricch. Roddy Ricch went from having Die Young and being the new guy with the new song that people just knew about that to having the #1 fucking album, outselling Eminem, out like the #1 record in the country, running shit. Like that puts him in the daily conversation where you have to respect him more musically, top to bottom, as opposed to just having one record or having a cool mixtape for 2 months.
Sure. Okay. So if you guys want to include both, that's fine. Maybe it's just a little more challenging. All right. Can we get to their list now? Let's do this. I feel like we have a decent foundation, and we got to write it up and make it the official criteria. So again, for the NBA All-Star game, the guys are picking their All-Star rap picks. We're gonna start with Wayno.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right. Drake, like, you can never take him out of any fucking conversation, right? Future.
He don't block you.
Fuck all that. Future, because I feel like, you know, in the past couple years, everybody's gotten lost in all these new guys and forgotten that he's the one out of all, him and Thugger, who I have on my list as well.
I just want to ask about Future.
Right.
Without Life, again, this is the All-Star.
Without Life is Good.
Right? Without Life is Good, is he on this list?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because when I think of an all-star, like all-star is not only about the moment. It's not about what you did. It's like you could be on a losing team and still get voted in.
But wait, are we counting just like the past year?
That's what I'm saying.
Like if we're tying it to
bingo.
like basketball, it should be we're counting a year. And remember all the criteria we just talked about.
I'm going to last year.
Right. So wait a second. See, you're not a fan of the Wizard album.
When did that come out? How
That
early
came out
last year?
January of last year.
I know we spoke. You wasn't that big of a fan of it either.
On what? On what?
January
talked about that.
2019.
No, yes, I was. I said no. When we first, wait a
need an
second.
intern to bring
We
the
could
tape
go.
back.
We bring the tape back. When we first talked about it, I went back and said, you know what? The more I listen to this album, I like
you
it.
went back in hindsight.
I went
So,
back.
I get it.
are those songs were those living through the rest of 2019? Because it came out early. in
Roger
January.
For me.
liked it a few weeks later, but I'm gonna give you that.
For me, yeah, I did like it a few months later. Okay, Meek. I feel like Meek, because we lack a lot of perspectives from the street on a lyrical side, because I feel like Future has, Future talks street shit all day. So does Thugger, so does Roddy Ricch. But you don't have like a person that does it in the traditional sense of rapping the way it used to be. We're mixing with today, so I got Meek in there. Roddy Ricch is because he's like the fucking, it's like if you could win Rookie of the Year twice, I think he could, you know what I'm saying? So I gotta have Roddy in there. And then Thugger, the reason why I have Thugger is because, again, for the past some odd years, now he's a vet, but I feel like you always have to have him in the conversation because he's always a part of it.
All right, man, Wayno, I feel like there's a glaring mistake on your list. Someone's missing, but I'm gonna let Akademiks go first, and we're gonna talk. If we're counting all the things we just said for the next year,
this is my starting five.
Someone's missing.
This is my starting five.
What's going on?
This is my starting five. I got more people.
I could see Drake and Future hogging the ball. I could see Meek, just in the corner like Mellow, like you'll pass me. But this is my list, okay? I got a lot of the new guys who I do believe in the last year have really shaken off that I'm a rookie thing. Like they're operating like they're veterans, they're putting up numbers, and also like they're being consistent. So my MVP of last year, and of course I got to have him on my
Your king, I said.
No, not at all. Her king. There's no MVP, there's no all-star list. If J. Cole not starting on your list, what's up?
Let's go with you, Wayno.
Like, what's going on with you, Wayno? Wayno!
What?
J. Cole don't make your all-star the starting lineup?
I didn't put him in my starting lineup.
Damn.
I didn't put him in the starting lineup.
You think he's a bench nigga?
Oh man, okay. Don't put me. Don't frame it that way, Akademiks. Don't frame it that way.
So that's like really my first pick,
okay,
right? I got Drake. I feel like Drake, he's the LeBron. He's aging, but like he's still doing enough. You get me? By the way, he still came off an album, Scorpion, his last project. He's dropped a couple loosies in between, and he still makes it. He gets the LeBron treatment.
Okay.
But then you got the new guys who are honestly like, these are like the Giannis. This is like even though Lillard's been around for a while. These are the people who are consistently doing it every night, the Hardens of the world.
Yeah.
Again, I know those NBA players aren't that new, but DaBaby, like his last year, it's hard for me to think about another rapper who's had a intro year, rookie or sophomore, right? That has rivaled his, where like, to be honest, I compare him with the heavyweights at this point, okay? I think this year he's probably gonna compete for the MVP, right? You have Roddy Ricch, who would have seen it coming, right? Like, I mean, of course, I was championing Roddy Ricch a long time ago, you as well, right? Absolutely. But to see him, like his album he delivered, and his album is just literally staying.
Yeah.
Top 3, he got the hottest song in the country. He's not doing it through anything else but the art. Yeah. You gotta respect it.
Absolutely.
You can't leave him off the starting lineup. And of course, I gotta go with Lil Baby.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm going with Lil Baby is because, number one, he's on a winning team. No, hold on.
Okay.
He's on a winning team.
Absolutely.
He's on a winning team, QC, right?
Absolutely.
And you might look at it, it's like when they put like Klay Thompson on the All-Star team. You're like, yo, his team is like, you got KD, at least at the time. KD, Steph Curry, Draymond. Yeah. But we really forget how consistent and how much Lil Baby is coming for it. His rapping is top tier.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't see him going for a lot of features, even though he has a lot of resources. You see where he's signed to. I think he's putting up those numbers, and I think he deserves to be a hip-hop all-star starter at this point. That's what I believe.
I'm not, Ak has a good list. You have a good list.
Do you have an explanation for us, or?
What, for me that I didn't pick J. Cole?
Hold on. I hear Roger in my ear says, who's my 6th? So if I'm going with a 6th man, I'm probably going Thug.
You going Thug?
Okay.
I'm going Thug.
Okay, so, and I'm not going Cole for my 6th. I'm not going Cole for my 6th.
What are you doing?
No, I'm not, because, okay, I'm not going Cole for my 6th.
Not on just being biased, of course, like being a fan, but I feel like last year was a really, really big year for him and the team.
It was a great year for him. This is my list.
You're not, but
let me have
oh, wait a minute.
Let's hear this shit.
Wait. But we don't want it to be so personal of a list that we're not counting the criteria we just said.
It's not, it's, all right,
even the desk is like, this is bullshit. What's going on?
No.
Who's the 6th?
I have a wild card.
Okay, let's hear it.
I have a wild card, and y'all might not agree with me.
Can I guess?
Yes.
Wait, is it somebody on my list?
No, yes.
Oh, it's gonna be like
Bro,
Benny
if you
the
say
Butcher
like Benny
or
the
Conway.
Butcher, I'm like, if you say like, oh,
got
respect. but if you say like
We
Benny
got it,
Butcher,
though.
I'm like, come on, bro.
No, that's no.
That's
We're
what
not
it
being
is.
disrespectful. We got
It's
it.
Benny Butcher?
I got it.
I'm putting him on my All-Star team.
I said it first.
I'm putting him on my All-Star team. You want to know why?
Okay, all right,
I'm going to tell you why I'm putting Benny the Butcher on my All-Star team, right? Because, first off, they're from Buffalo, New York. People in New York City have never given a fuck about Buffalo, New York. I'm keeping it all the way 100. Everybody just credits Buffalo for wings and the Bills. Nobody's ever given them no respect, no just due, none of that shit. For him to be a new artist and to be mentioned in the spaces that he's mentioned with, because people are mentioning him with considerable lyrical greats. I feel like Benny is an artist that if he finds that medium that we're talking about between staying current and being lyrical and having a hit record, that's the only thing that's keeping him out of every type of conversation. And I feel for him to be an artist that's he's been rapping for a long time, but only been putting out music in the last 2 years, and to get the recognition he's gotten, he may not sell the most, he may not stream at the highest, but for him to be in the daily conversation when we talking about rapping lyrics, I gotta put Benny the Butcher in there.
I'm gonna respectfully disagree with Wayno, even though I would definitely put Benny the Butcher in the All-Star.
In the All-Star game. You'll put him on the team?
No.
He would put him on the team?
He's in the three-point competition.
He's in a three-point. Wait, he can't get a spot on a 15-man roster?
Because if we're going over the criteria, I feel like while he might maximize, like he's a dude that hits every three. He's Kyle Korver.
Wait, listen.
He's Kyle Korver.
No, he's not. I'm basing this on potential.
Yo,
I'm basing this on.
Basically, we made a list
That's
and
the
Wayno
rookie
just said.
sophomore
wait,
game,
Wayno
bro.
said
Okay, well, it's still an All-Star.
He's in the skills challenge.
Oh,
He's
come
in the
on. You're
dunk
part of the
contest.
All-Star. I'm putting
Skills
Benny the
challenge,
Butcher.
dunk contest, three-point contest.
Okay, well, I'm putting Benny there.
But the minute he gets a hit, he's definitely gonna be on the All-Star team.
And
Okay.
that's the only thing that's keeping him away at this point. And I don't think that when he does find a hit, when he finds a hit, that it's gonna be some shit that, oh, Chris Brown just sing right here, or you know what I mean? It went plug and
Some
play.
organic shit.
I think it's gonna be some organic shit. I feel like he could make, that's putting a lot on him. I wouldn't say a Hard Knock Life record, but I feel like he could make a record that kind of transcends on some lyrical shit, but it doesn't have to be. Like, you know what I'm saying?
All
Like,
I'm saying is my team is smoking Wayno.
All right.
smoking, we got a lot of the same people. What the fuck?
I'm bringing in Thug as my sixth man. He's bringing in Benny the
He
Butcher.
said I got a wild card.
Get started on
Gentlemen, thank you for your list.
That was fun.
Audience, you guys can send us your list too. I think we have a guest tomorrow, so we might not get to run this back till Monday. So you have two options.
Listen, I'm gonna look in the comment section. I want to see.
Send
that.
it. No, but we want to play them at the beginning of the show. So yeah, most likely Monday we'll do this. So you could either use these criteria, the intangibles, the sales, song making abilities, and buzz, and make a
Impact.
list, or you could just be Wayno, throw caution to the wind, and just make a list of rappers
And
you
listen,
really like.
I'll be able to
It's your
looking
list.
through the audience's list, you'll probably be able to tell age. If you
Yeah.
see Cardi and Uzi on a list, you know what time it is.
Yeah.
If you see
come on.
Young Boy on the list, you know what time
Yeah,
it
but
is.
all I'm asking you to consider, we're not asking for like your all-time greatest, the person that you really stand
Last
for.
year and a
Just
half.
last year and a
think
half,
you-
who you think's really held it down.
Putting Young Boy in the All-Star
Young Boy
team
might-
is not a bad.
Of course.
Yeah, that's not a.
No, what I'm saying, if he's starting.
All right, so
We should let you make
It's like,
the whole
is he
team.
starting or like, you know what I mean? Like he's coming in, maybe 8th, 9th man, and like he doing his thing. Yeah. He's definitely on my team though.
Okay.
All right.
Yo,
He's
send
on my
us.
My team was smoking.
Send us your pics on Twitter at EverydayShrug with 2 Gs. Ak, you want to do by the numbers or should we go to on the clock?
We can do by the numbers real quick. Listen, Lil Wayne's funeral album, you know, we did the over under. I think I went over at first.
We all went over.
But I went back under. It was 175, I believe it was our like barometer
Yeah.
that you set. I went under. Eventually, he ended up selling 139,000 copies first week. It was still good enough to be number one, which adds on to his long list of number one albums. You know, I just feel like this is not the Carter series, you know, and he didn't lead with a big single. I don't think this is bad.
Right.
You can wait if you want.
I don't think.
Roddy Ricch came in with number 2 with his project. Please excuse me for being antisocial. It's not going anywhere. It's still selling over 80,000. And it's been at least like 6-7 weeks now. You get me?
It's amazing.
Eminem, he actually landed at number 3 with 69,000. And Russ, his debut sales with Shake the Snow Globe got actually 65,000. So, you know, congrats to him. Another notable debut, Yo Gotti, who came up here, he talked a lot about Untrapped. It came in at number 10 with 35,000. And of course, on the singles charts, we still got Roddy with The Box. killing #1. And, you know, Orbs and Future, they're still at #2 with Life is Good. So that's pretty much the notable ones. We'll see if anything changes what's going on so far.
We know Post Malone's just going to be on the charts till the end of the year.
Yeah,
he's not going anywhere.
Shit is crazy.
55 a week for the rest of the year.
All right, thank you, Ak. Let's go to our next segment, please. Today's contender for On the Clock is YBN Almighty Jay. So Jay broke out in 2017 with his hit song Chopstick. So that has over 17 million views on YouTube at this point. That same year, he dropped a couple other records, including Taken Off and Beware, but they didn't chart as well. In 2018, he was featured on the YBN team's first full-length project that was called YBN, the mixtape, along with Namir and Corday, of course. And that year, he was also nominated to be an XXL freshman. In March 2019, there was like a clip of him that went viral of him getting robbed, and then we didn't hear too much from him for a little bit after that. And then this month, he appeared on the Fox Soul show called One on One with Keisha Cole, where he was talking about his crush on Jaya Michelle. Is YBN Almighty Jay on the clock?
Unfortunately, I got to put my man on the clock. And I rock with YBN Almighty Jay. If you ask me about the YBN Collective, and I believe they introduced a new girl, but let's just say it's Corday, Namir, Almighty Jay, all respect to all the other people who are still in the fold. But those three members, if I was to say, and if you asked me who has the it factor in terms of personality, the intangibles, I think it's YBN Almighty Jay. I don't think a record has matched that it factor, and also I do think his propensity to be a little bit wild and kind of just like, you know, acting out a little bit, get himself in a little bit, you know, certain things he probably shouldn't be involved in. I think those things have held him back. So he needs a record and needs to chill out a little bit. Right. Also, third, I do believe that there is for certain artists, like Moneybagg Yo, great example. He dropped a project. I felt like his music plus the relationship drama, Shade Room, Baller Alert, all that, you know, hype and like intrigue about like his personal life met at a great point where it helped the music and helped the sales. I feel like for some artists, the music get lost in between it and you start thinking about like the main thing you hear about that artist is their relationships. Like with YBN Almighty Jay, you know, him and Dream Doll was in a very public relationship. You know about him and Black China. Now he's with Mulatto, and
he want Mulatto now.
Shade Room Teens, and you know, like you hear him talking about again relationship stuff. You know, I would like a little bit more energy to be spent on the music, and for him to put all of that personality and charismatic type of shit into the music a little bit more. Two-tone drip, really fuck with it.
Yeah,
like again, we all know it was a setback with the robbery, this and third. You know, he came out with a song afterwards, but like visibly, and of course I pay attention more than the average fan, I feel like the average fan probably stopped seeing the progression of the music and start seeing back on that person. Like, he's not a Love and Hip Hop star. Or I would hope he doesn't want to be because he has a music career that he could really win with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm at with it.
I definitely put him on the clock, but I think it's just a little bit more simple. I mean, like when you said Moneybagg Yo, the only thing I thought of is Moneybagg Yo is way a better rapper than Almighty Jay. And that's not no disrespect to him. I just think that he has a certain skill level when it hits his peak. He's more known for controversy things happening in his life than he is for music. I mean, every time I think of him, I love Two-Tone Drip. And then he was doing a lot of records with Day Trip, who of course, you know, they done fucking took off for Lil Nas X, and they were supposed to be doing this whole album. I think that there's like a personal life disconnect as to his career. That's what I really see. Like when we see, you know how you always say like in songs when actors like, yo, dude is crying for help. I see all of this like acting out is like he's just, to me, he's like a young kid kind of lost in this shit. And I think it's kind of taking him over. You know, I think that he has enough skill to be respected as an artist though. You know, like I don't put him, everybody compares him to Rich the Kid because they got the same similar flow. He was saying that Rich took his flow or whatever the case may be. I think that his skill set is there, but he's not that good at the song making. You know, I don't think that he's made songs that's really been like, it's been cool, but we haven't had the one from him yet. You know what I mean? Not even a real glimpse of it. I think Two-Tone Drip was a glimpse of that, but he never took it up far beyond that. And even with the whole YBN collective, I don't know. It's odd to me now.
Do you think the collective's not really a thing anymore, or that they wouldn't be putting out music, I guess, together?
I don't want to. I don't want to, because I don't want to kind of pit them against. I went to Corday's show last night, and just seeing how, like, I mean, he can command a crowd. Like, he's speaking to. He just. I think he's kind of. Not that he's not YBN anymore, but he's kind of like growing out outside of that, like how Drake had to grow out of Young Money, or Nicki had to grow out of Young Money. You know what I'm saying? Eventually Tyga. You know what I mean? They all three of those artists went from being, you thought of Young Money every time you seen them, to their own entity. And I feel like Corday's kind of grown into just being Corday. Even with Namir, we talked about, like, you know, he's dropped records, but they just haven't hit like the ones before. I just don't know if the song making ability like they once had, or Namir had, or Almighty Jay potentially could have, is still there. You know?
Yeah, so for like Namir, like I'm gonna give him a couple of months to see what he's gonna come with this album. You know, I know he's been prepping an album. Let's see how he presents it, how it sounds, and how it's received.
Right.
Jay, I just see like a lot of unfocused shit, man. Like it really, like, I'm like, damn, bro. I'm like, when I see him on like these like Instagram like gossip pages about relationships, I'm like, bro, that's not gonna be like, that's cool within a circle. I mean,
if your music reflected that, like that's what I'm saying. It's like if your music, all right, we talk about Future and all the shit he goes through, right? Like certain lines that he has reflects what the perception that people have of him in a relationship. Like, so when you think of,
so funny though.
I'm not calling this nigga Future by no means. I'm just saying, like, if that's your space as an artist, like, what's your thing, right? Jeezy shit was the trap. Nas shit is intellect. Jay shit is hustle. What's Namir's? I mean, not Namir. What's Almighty Jay's thing? If his thing is being in messy relationships, then your music should be about messy relationships.
But I guess the music, it's just like those headlines shouldn't be more popular than
the only thing I look at it and I compare it to is I compare it to Dave East a bunch. Where, like, I feel like the intrigue with Dave East, like, yo, he has a bunch of chicks who fuck with him. They're like, oh, cool. Like, I see them, they talk about anything to do with his personal life on the blogs. They're like, yo, everybody's like caring, like, you know, but it doesn't go to the music. And it's like, you have to realize, and I think YBN Almighty Jay feeds into it maybe even more than Dave East, where, like, he's on the show, like, talking about, like, personal life stuff. Like, is he performing at the end of it? Is he plugging?
Yeah, I don't want to, like, what is he doing a one-on-one interview for?
Exactly. So, like, I look at it and I'm like, right now your audience isn't, the majority of your audience don't care about you for music. And it don't seem like you're trying to change that perception. It seems, if anything, you're continuing it by continuing to delve into what you're going on with your personal life. And for a rapper like him, who I believe you're in a collective, YBN, Corday's, you know, like, Corday's content's a little bit different than y'all's. He raps different than y'all. He might just be almost standing separate from YBN in perception-wise. You and Namir, y'all make music that is for the moment, fun, this and third. I want to see more of that in a year that I think is necessary for y'all to turn up.
Okay.
Like, this is the year. Like, if this year goes down and all we're talking about in December is, oh yeah, I ain't gonna lie, yo, YBN Almighty Jay dated like three like Instagram models or like 3 upcoming rappers, and like, man, that nigga, he get all the chicks. Trust me, we will not care about his music at all.
You just gotta make a song about it. I swear, like, like, he has to make songs, and it don't need to be introspective. He just need to have songs about
ingratiated content.
Yeah.
Like live one life. Like,
yeah, exactly.
If that's you, okay, cool. You broke up with Dream Doll, for better or for worse. Where's the music about that?
Right.
No?
Right.
Okay, so YBN Almighty Jay officially on the clock, but it seems like he has until the end of 2020 to course correct. So hopefully he does get focused. And now, here is YK Osiris telling a bunch of high school students how he really feels about other rappers.
We having no education. All your favorite rappers, they be dumb as fuck. They can't hold a conversation for an hour. They don't know how to spell. I swear to God, on my right hand Bible, these y'all favorite rappers, they be singing it while rapping. They don't know how to,
I mean, out of context, I assume he's probably telling them to stay in school, get a really good education. That was probably the peg of this.
No, I mean, this is the thing, right? Okay, when I keep seeing YK Osiris doing stuff like this, I just don't know what his mission is. Like, no, seriously, like I go
King R&B, my nigga.
No, like, I go on I go on Axe page. He's holding hands with homeless people and they singing together. He's saying how music is the devil. Once you sign a contract, you sold your soul, but he signed to a label. I think sometimes he has a lot of things he wants to express and he has a lot of time on his hands. And I just don't know if he knows how to convey messages. It's just very confusing. You're telling kids, and I'm not saying that it's wrong to tell kids to go stay in school, but did you finish school? He's only like 16, 17 years old. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. It's the messenger.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
and
the
you're right.
messenger.
Delivery. There's probably a much better way to deliver that without disparaging
Yeah, your rappers can't
people
spell.
and artists. But
Oh wow.
I do believe that YK Osiris is conflicted. I think there's an inner conflict there. I don't know exactly what it is.
I feel like he's about to fix someone's
Inner
life right
No,
now.
I ain't gonna do nothing.
You said propensity
There's some inner
earlier, I'm so
conflict
proud
going
of
on
you.
with him.
Pray for him.
He might say he prayed for me. So like,
Okay.
you know, there's some inner conflict going on with some of the messages he's putting forth, and then some of like even the frustrations I see with him venting about this music industry. Because you're right, he's choosing to be in it, but he's venting about some very core principles and core things that's what the industry is. It's a trade-off in a lot of cases. In this particular clip though, where he's telling kids, yo, a lot of y'all favorite rappers are dumb as fuck. He's right though, you know, like he's right. And I'm not gonna criticize him for this because he's trying to get kids to stay in school whether he finished or not. And like, it's like one of those things like, I don't know if Gucci was a fucking A+ student, but they brought him to talk to some kids. And if he told the kids like, yo, all these other rappers are pussy, I slapped all of them, so stay in school. Like, whatever the message was to help the kids like, kind of like, because it's different when you hear it from someone in it than your teacher. You get me? That's why I've always appreciated Meek. I'm like, yo, I could tell people like, yo, you know y'all do all that bullshit, y'all gonna go to jail. Meek says it's a whole different meaning. You know why? Because it's a motherfucker who lived it. You know, it's this motherfucker who's in it.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to like rappers and like musicians and celebrities who they idolize, I'm not gonna knock him for trying to put out a good message, even if he may be a hypocrite to that as well. You know, like if he didn't graduate or whatever. Like, try to save the kids. You get me? But all I gotta say is he's stupid as fuck for paying $500 for a haircut. He found out for a haircut, bro.
What?
Sorry.
So what are we talking about?
No, because he was on the gram like 20 minutes before he posted this saying he paid $500 for a haircut. And I was like,
okay.
okay.
Maybe he's showing both sides of the coin. That's all.
You know what? Let's end with this. Some new music. So Jay Electronica got on Twitter recently to say that his album is finally done. And it's apparently going to drop in 40 days. At this point, it's a little bit less than 40. Seems like it might be called a written testimony. We got to go, but you guys think there's a chance Jay Electronica could just drop one of the most fire albums of the year?
I believe it when I see it, and it better be good because it took 10 years.
Okay,
So,
fair
that's
enough.
it. Yeah.
I'm good.
Cool. All right, guys. Thank you for watching Everyday Struggle. We'll be back here tomorrow. Tweet us your top 5, your all-star rapper list. Try to use our criteria at Everyday Struggle on Twitter with
Do niggas still care about
two
that?
G's.
I
Bye.
don't.
So,